at a very rapid clip, and the Weather Service saw a couple of scans with the tidal rotation, so they believe that the right thing to do is to have a tornado warning in effect here. So again, we have a tornado warning in effect for far northeastern Lamar. And let me just say, if you're in Vernon, the danger is on by you. In fact, this will be out of Lamar County, this circulation, in a matter of minutes. And again, that's going to be clipping the far southeastern part of Marion County, and really clipping northwestern Fayette County. And here's the other thing we should mention. I know that you're going to see the word Fayette County, but please understand, if you're in Fayette or Berry or Belk, this has nothing to do with you. The tornado segment, that tornado warning is just for just a very tiny, tiny, tiny fraction. And unfortunately, many of the legacy warning systems sound for the entire county. We have not used counties for warning for tornadoes in about 10 years where we are. We use storm-based warnings, these polygon shapes we show. So again, you might hear something going off, but if you're in the city of Fayette, the city of Berry, there's no tornado warning for you. It's this far, far, far northwestern corner. And I mean just that northwestern snippet of Fayette County, then back up into the eastern part of Marion County. And again, this includes Winfield and Guin, and the circulation is going to be crossing Highway 22. Let's go to the graphic system, and again, this is going to show a representation of the polygon warning. Again, Interstate 22 you see right here, and that's obviously why nobody should be driving along Interstate 22. You've got Guin and Winfield down here along Alabama Highway 5, the old U.S. Highway 78. Brilliant, of course, is just located north of Interstate 22, but this is clearly going to be right in the path of this thing. So Guin, Winfield, Twin, Brilliant. If you're in any of these communities in Marion County, you want to be in a safe place until the storm is on by you. This is a squall line. This is a situation where it's going to be very challenging for us to warn for these tornadoes. They tend to be very short-lived. And again, let's go to Brian Peters if we can. Let's double box with the... I'll be on one side, Brian's on the other side. Brian, tell us where you are and what you've got. We might have lost Brian.
Well, I think he had to put the phone down to drive. I think that's more of a safety thing. He's trying to get where he's going there for a minute. He's trying to get ahead of the storm. So he's going to put the phone down, I think, for a minute.
Okay. So again, and again, Brian is kind of in an area where we're going to have kind of sparse data coverage too. But again, this is part of a long line of storms in West Alabama that can produce damaging straight line winds. Notice there's a lot of bow-shaped segments within the line. There's some kinks and breaks in the line. And in some of these bows and kinks, you might wind up with a small tornado, and that's the one tornado warning we have up here for extreme northeastern Lamar and the southeastern part of Marion County. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're in Hamilton, it's horrible. Pouring rain, thunder, lightning, gusty winds, but the tornado threat is going to be down here farther to the south, including the cities of Guin and Winfield. Let's go down to the South Charles. I want to take a look at Tuscaloosa County. And again, we've got a Boeing-shaped segment coming into Tuscaloosa County as well, right through here. And again, that's going to be coming into downtown Tuscaloosa, I'd say, in about the next 30 minutes or so. So if you are in the city of Tuscaloosa or Northport, be aware you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Not a tornado warning, but it really doesn't matter if you have trees blown down by straight line winds or tornadic winds. It really doesn't matter. You just need to be in a safe place and be aware that straight line winds could easily produce some damage in this situation right here. So a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for all of Fayette, most all of Marion, most of Pickens, all of Greene, the whole length of this line coming through West Alabama. In fact, let's expand this out, Charles. Let me just show you a big picture. Based on the, again, getting a lot of questions. Birmingham is over here, and let's just say this is the tornado watch boundary, so Birmingham is in the tornado watch. Anniston, Gadsden is not. You can see the line of storms progressing through parts of West Alabama. This will be coming through Tuscaloosa in about 30 minutes. I'd say Birmingham by probably 2 o'clock this afternoon. And obviously, if you've got something planned outdoors, the thing you don't want to do is to be driving in that. Just somehow map out your plan so you don't have to be in this. The last place you want to be is a car. And hopefully we get through this without too much damage. Again, Brian Peters experienced the line in Pickens County. We watched the line come through our Skycam at Reform in Pickens County with winds in the 30 to 35 mile per hour bracket. And that's not really, that's under severe criteria. But like we've talked about, that doesn't necessarily mean everybody within the line has the same type wind. The reason we are here, it's this tornado warning in effect for the southeastern part of Marion County. This includes Guin, this includes Winfield, this includes the community of Brilliant. And we're watching a rotation signature on radar. The Weather Service believes that there could very well be a tornado in that zone. These things tend to be short-lived, and understand we did have a horrific loss of life yesterday in parts of East Texas, east of Dallas-Fort Worth. A horrible situation in Canton, Texas, but the conditions are not the same here. But even though that might have been an EF3, and I don't have the rating on that yet, or larger, it doesn't matter. All tornadoes are dangerous, even these small, short-lived ones. But just be aware within this line, a small one could drop out at any time. But the reason we are here, it's the tornado warning in effect for the extreme southeastern part of Marion County. That includes Guin, Winfield, and again, Interstate 22 is your major corridor running through here, and nobody should be driving along Interstate 22 at this point, and you just need to stop. I'd say Eldridge, over there in Walker County, if you're traveling northwest up Interstate 22 toward Memphis, if you're around Carbon Hill or Eldridge, just stop. Stop, get off the interstate, and just wait this thing out. And coming back the other way, you'd stop at Hamilton. You don't want to be in that zone around Twin or Guin or Winfield, those exits on Interstate 22. Let's go back to the high-resolution radar behind me. And again, we're watching the data coming from the Columbus Air Force Base radar. And again, it's somewhat of a noisy, there's no doubt it's spinning like a top. That line segment is spinning. Whether or not there's a tornado down, we don't know at this point. We'll take a look at, just for the fun of it, the correlation coefficient product, and that's obviously very noisy. You can't call a debris signature there. We look for those negative spots in a concentrated area. And again, this is the actual reflectivity. This is the line itself. We'll kind of expand that whole thing out. And this is going to be sweeping through Alabama this afternoon. The initial problems over here on the western side of the state. And again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings all the way from Marion County down through Lamar, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, Greene, Pickens, and Sumter. Basically, anybody in the path of that thing is under a severe thunderstorm warning. The line segment is getting very close to Tuscaloosa and Northport. In fact, let's go to let's double box and put the Tuscaloosa sky cam in the other image. And Charles, that thing's got to be getting pretty close where we can start to see the shelf cloud here in a minute.
Yeah, I think we will. And wind gusts right now around 30 miles an hour, which is just a little bit less than what we saw through reform anyway. So we're already getting some good gusts coming through. Winds, though, the sustained winds about 17 miles an hour. So it's a pretty good windy day over there in Tuscaloosa. I know it's got those dark, ominous clouds moving in. And we'll see this probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes. We're really starting to see that darken up, and we'll see that line coming through. I wish the courthouse camera was working, but it seems to be down still. And unfortunately, but you know, it's we got a pretty good view from here on top of DCH. We're looking past Bryant-Denny there. And I really think we'll see a good shot of this as it comes in. And you can tell by just looking at the clouds above, just watching how fast they're moving anyway, how quick these storms are going to roll on through. You know, we've got some sky watchers out there in Coker. I haven't heard from him yet, but that line of storms is about to roll through his backyard. So I'm sure we'll start to hear from some of our sky watchers out there on the network and see what they have to say. So if they're listening, you guys let us know, but do so when it's safe. Make sure you let this line pass through. But I wouldn't be surprised along that 82 corridor to get some trees down, and it's cleared out of reform now, which is good, and Gordo, still some heavy rain. But I tell you, as it moves in, it's really bowing out pretty quickly. And then, of course, we're also watching that tornado warning up in Marion County. So, and that one, that tornado warning, rather, is until, I forgot the time on that one. I believe 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock. So the severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be widespread throughout the day. They're doing these almost in 2 or 3 county blocks, and that's those long, widespread bows that we have along the line. Wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, easily not out of the question. The tornado warning itself for Marion County until 1. And the current time right now is 12:30. And I know there's a basketball game on, and you guys want to watch that, but this is much more important than a basketball game. And at this point, if you're in Guin or Winfield, Twin, Brilliant, you need to be in your safe place immediately. Stinson, Pierce Mills, you got to go ahead and get to that safe place right now. That is beginning to cross over the old 278 down there. So again, just be aware that this is going to take some time to get through, and you need to be on the lowest level of your home, put as many walls between you and the exterior as possible, and to be in that safe place. We'll let you know when it's clear. We'll give you that all clear. In fact, if you're in Beaverton, you weren't technically in the warning, but you probably heard those sirens going off in Lamar County. You guys are fine. Vernon's out of this thing. Guin, Winfield, Guin. I know there's 2 separate municipalities there. They get into it sometimes. You guys make sure you're in that safe place. Again, Brilliant, not quite to you yet, but you need to be in that safe place immediately.
Now let's go back to the high-resolution radar. If we can double box maybe me and the Tuscaloosa Skycam. That's great right there. Thank you, Vic. And again, thanks to our production team for coming in early today. we've got the reason we are here. We have a tornado warning that is in effect for parts of Marion County. And again, let me stress that it clips the far, far, far northwestern tip of Fayette County. The city of Fayette's not involved in a tornado warning. You're involved in a severe thunderstorm warning, but the rotation is going to be coming up, and basically that thing is crossing over Interstate 22 right now. So let's go now to Brian Peters' live stream. Brian, tell us where you are and what you've got.
Okay, James, I'm on Alabama 86, a little bit to the east of Carrollton. Coming out of Carrollton, there's a fairly substantial bridge over, I think, a creek of some sort, and there's an older tree that looks like it's not in too good a health, but unfortunately it's weighing down the power lines very heavily. I don't know, Alabama Power is probably going to have to, or whatever power company serves this area, they're going to have to get there and take that tree off. Once again, I'm seeing, everywhere I'm going, I'm seeing a little bit of sign of winds on the order of 35 to 40 miles an hour. Have not seen any significant signs of any damage where I've been so far, James.
Okay, and that's great news. And again, we've not received that many reports of damage, and that's the best possible thing. So let's put the graphics behind me for just a second, and we'll get Charles to get Brian's stream back up on the.
Brian's up.
Okay.
That's yours. That's your iPad.
Okay. Sorry about that. So we will get mine back up, and we're going to be on 5 right here. There we go. Now we can put the high res back on here. And again, the circulation does not look that impressive at this point, which is a good thing. But again, that does, if you're in the warning, we want you to stay in a safe place. Again, and the deal is, in a situation like this, the bigger issue, it's probably going to be the straight line winds within this line. This is part of a long line of storms, a very dynamic system moving into a very ripe air mass that's favorable for severe weather. And again, you can see within that line we have a number of bowing segments, including one coming through parts of northern Tuscaloosa County that could easily produce strong winds. That bow is coming up through north side in northern Tuscaloosa County, and the line itself will be coming into Tuscaloosa soon. With all of our cameras and our instruments, we've been watching these things. But again, we've had some reports of damage today. You saw reports, or you saw the photograph of the church with that structure out in front of the church that looks like it collapsed. But again, we've heard of no injuries, and quite frankly, that's the only report of structural damage that we have seen today. But out of respect to what this thing has done over the past 24 hours, the Weather Service feels the right thing to do is to stay with the tornado warning. And I will just now say they've canceled it. The Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Fayette, Lamar, and Marion, in that we just don't have any strong sign of circulation here. Let me go back and I'll show you this. It's looked pretty ill-defined over the last several sweeps. But again, you can see there's just not a real good tornado signature right there. So at this point, we have no tornado warnings in effect. No tornado warnings in effect for any part of Alabama. No part of the state. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And before we go, let me just look at this northern Tuscaloosa County circulation. You see this thing right here. This is in the northern part of Tuscaloosa County, and the Weather Service might look at a tornado warning for that. This is the one that is now really around north side, moving north side, New Lexington. That's moving northeast, maybe up toward Berry and southern Fayette County. There's no tornado warning now, but if we have one, we're going to come right back. So we're going to go right back to the basketball game. When a new warning comes out, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Don't go away. I'm James Spann, live in the ABC 3340 Weather Center.